Miyu, so we're gonna be having your full stage revision of Stage 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
Okay.
Uh-huh. Wow, that was what we
Ooh.
call the background. Are you
What a
ready?
good timing.
Yeah. So that was the explosion of my fireworks here. Okay, so ready?
Okay.
Alright, so what's the best way to calm somebody down when he's very angry? What is the best way to calm somebody down when he's very angry? The best
The
way
best
to
way to
calm somebody
calm
down
somebody down
when he's very angry
when he's very angry
is to speak
is to speak
quietly and
quietly and
pleasantly to him.
pleasantly to him.
Yep. Are we having calm weather at the moment? Are we having calm weather at the moment? Yes, we are
Yes,
having
we're
calm
having
weather
calm weather
at the
at the
moment.
moment.
Yep. What are the two ways of forming the second conditional with the verb to be? What are the two ways of forming the second conditional with the verb to be? The two
The
ways
two
of
ways of
forming the second
forming the second
conditional
conditional
with the verb to
with
be,
the
verb to be,
verb to be
are if I
are
was
if I
and
was and
if I
if
were.
I were.
Yep. Me, if you were a millionaire, where would you live? If you're a millionaire, where would you live? If I were a
If I were a
millionaire,
millionaire,
I would live
I would
in
live in
where?
Japan.
In America? Oh, still in Japan. Okay, why? Why? Because
I don't know. I can speak
because
Japanese here.
mm, what's the connection? Okay,
Because
and then you
overseas I cannot speak Japanese, right?
okay, and then you could what? You could
What? Build?
build
What?
what? Build
Build?
okay, build houses there. Because you're a millionaire, right? Anyway, so if I
Okay.
were you, which language would I speak? Online example. If I were you, which language would I speak? If I were
If
you,
I
which
were you,
language would I speak?
huh? If I
I just
were,
repeat the language. If you were me,
if you were
if you were
me,
me, you would speak
you
what?
would speak
Which one?
Japanese.
Like another, if you were a king, what would your wife be called? If you were a king, what would your wife be called? If I were a
If I
king,
were a king,
my wife would
my
be
wife
called
would
a
be called a
queen.
queen.
Yep, if there wasn't light in this room, would we be able to see well when it got dark? If there wasn't light in this room, would we be able to see well when it got dark? Now, if
Now,
there
if they
wasn't a
wasn't
light,
a light,
I'm saying if there if there wasn't a
if
light,
there wasn't
a light
light
in this
in
room,
this room,
we wouldn't be
we
able to
wouldn't
see
be
well
able to see well
when it got dark.
when it got dark.
We would see badly,
We would see
badly,
badly.
badly, badly. Yep.
Badly.
Another, if there weren't any food in the world, would we all die? If there weren't any food in the world, would we all die? Yes.
Yes.
If there weren't any
If
food
there
in the
weren't
world,
any food in
in the
the
world,
world,
we would all
we
die.
would all die.
So cute. Another, if you weren't you, who would you like to be? If you weren't you, who would you like to be? If I weren't
If I
me,
weren't me,
I would like to
I'd
be
like to be who?
who?
You.
Angel, Angel. Me, me. You're gonna be short.
Oh
Why?
no.
Why? Because
Because I like
mm,
short.
okay, you can reach the table easily.
Yeah.
You will forever be young. Okay, another. Can we use the expression "if I were you" to give advice to somebody? Can we use the expression "if I were you" to give advice to somebody? Yes. No.
Yeah.
Yes. If yes, what? Yes, we can use the
We can use the
expression
expression
"if I were
if I
you"
were you
to give
to
advice
give
to
advice to
somebody.
somebody.
Yep. Give an example. Give an example. Is if I were
If I
you,
were you,
I would eat
I
more
would eat more
vegetables.
vegetables.
Uh-oh. Or I wouldn't buy that
Or
car
I wouldn't buy that car
if I were
if
you.
I were you.
Yep. Okay, let's move down here. What is the biggest problem in your life at the moment? What is the biggest problem in your life at the moment? The biggest
The biggest
problem
problem
in my
in
life at
my
the
life at the
moment
moment
is which one?
is
My lunch?
my
My lunch.
lunch.
Okay, so for example, if I were you, right? So give me some advice, please. Give me some advice, please. If I were
If
you,
I were you,
I would
I would
eat.
eat.
You're hungry, right? Eat. What's your problem? Okay, another is again. What's another opposite of the verb lose besides find? What's another opposite of the verb lose besides find? Another opposite
Another opposite
of the verb
of the
lose
verb lose
besides
besides
find is
find is
win.
win.
What are the three forms of win? What are the forms of win? The three
The
forms of
three
win are
forms of win are
win.
win are win
Yeah,
one
winner.
one
Winner. Win one.
win
One.
one one.
Yep. Does your country usually win at football? Does your country usually win at football? Yes, no.
Don't know. No,
No, my country
my
doesn't.
country doesn't.
Usually win at.
Usually win at.
Not usually.
Huh?
Usually
Usually
win
win
at football.
at football.
It usually
We usually
loses.
loses.
Not we. It usually
It usually
loses.
loses.
To make it not obvious. Right? Again, another. Miyu, do you do the lottery? Do you do the lottery? Yes, no?
No,
No, I don't do
I
the
don't
lottery.
do the lotteries.
The lotteries? The lottery.
Huh? A
The
lottery.
lottery.
The lottery.
Oh, you have gotcha.
Huh?
That's a lottery. Okay, anyways, I couldn't ask if. Okay, let's just try this part. Have you ever won? Have you ever won? I have never won.
I've never won.
Yep. Only example. Only example. That's why I said like gotcha. That's also a lottery. Another, if you won a million pounds, for example, what would you do with it? If you won a million pounds, what would you do with it? If I won
If
a million
I won
pounds,
a million pounds,
I would buy
I would
what?
buy.
Or what would you do with it? Yeah, I
I'll
will build
travel
a school.
around. Build a
Yeah.
school.
What about you? I would travel.
Travel around the world.
Good luck.
Yay.
Yay! Again, another. What about this one? Is this pen useless? Is this pen useless? No, that pen
No,
isn't
the pen
useless.
isn't useless.
It's useful.
It's useful.
What do we do with useless things? What do we do with useless things? We throw
We throw
useless
useless
things away.
things away.
Yeah, so I threw him. Oh. Oh. Okay, another. What are the two most useful things you possess? What are two most useful things you possess? The two
The
most
two most
useful things I possess
I
are
possess are
which one?
my smartphone
And
and my tablet.
oh, most favorites. I see. Me, maybe my laptop and my pot. I can work and I can eat. Okay, another. What about this one? So, do you think that what you are learning now will be useful to you later on in life? Do you think that what you are learning now will be useful to you later on in life? Yes, I think
Yes,
that.
I think that
What I'm learning now
what I'm learning now
will be
will
useful
be
to me
useful to me
later on in
later
life.
on my life.
On in life.
On in life.
Yeah, that's your life though. Why? Because it will help
Because
me
it
get
will
work,
help me get
get work, and speak to
and
people
speak to
from
people from
other countries.
other countries.
Yep. So what is the contraction of I would? What's the contraction of I would? The
The
contraction of I
contraction
would
I would
is
is
I.
I'd.
Yep. What are the contractions of you would, he would, she would, etc.? What are the contractions of you would, he would, she would, etc.? The complete one. The
The
contractions of
contractions of
you would,
you
he
would,
would,
he
she
would,
would,
she would,
etc. are
etc. are
you'd,
you'd,
he'd,
he'd,
she'd,
should,
it'd,
it'd,
with,
would,
you'd, and
and
they'd.
they'd.
Okay, another. If you went to the cinema this evening, which film would you see? Only an example. If you went to the cinema this evening, which film would you see? If I went to the
If I went
cinema
to the cinema
this evening,
this evening,
I'd
I'd
see.
see
I don't watch movie. How about you? Frozen?
Frozen.
Which movie?
Okay.
Which movie? Okay, Frozen. Okay, may I suddenly Frozen. Again, if I were you, which language would I speak? If I were you, which language would I speak? If you were
If
me,
you were me,
you'd speak.
you'd speak Japanese.
Hi. Okay, another. If a plant had no water, would it die? If a plant had no water, would it die? Yes, if a
Yes,
plant
if
had no water,
a plant had no water,
it'd
it
die.
would die.
And then when your hand suddenly hit the tip, to die. Yeah, I just hit it though. Anyway, so what is contraction of book wood? What's contraction of book wood? The contraction
The
of book wood is
contraction of book
book
wood
wood is
book.
book. Yep. Lesson would, who would, what would, which would, lesson would, who would, what would, which would, lesson
Lessened,
would,
hood,
what would,
what
which
it,
would.
which it.
Oh, nice. If you're a king, what did your wife be called? If you're a king, what did your wife be called? If I were a
If I were
king,
a king,
my wife
my
would be
wife
called
would be called
a queen.
a queen.
Yep. Another. If you lost your way in a large city, who'd you ask? If you lost your way in a large city, who'd you ask? If I lost
If I
my way
lost my way
in a large city,
in a large city,
I'd ask her.
I'd ask a policeman.
I'd ask Siri. Yes. I am lost. Good. Good for you. And then another. If today were Sunday, what did tomorrow be? If today were Sunday, what did tomorrow be? If today were
If
Sunday,
today were Sunday,
tomorrow would be
tomorrow'd be
Monday.
Monday.
Yep, so when office workers are too busy to leave their desks for lunch, do they often just have a quick sandwich? When office workers are too busy to leave their desks for lunch, for example, only, do they often just have a quick sandwich? Yes,
Yeah.
when office
When
workers
office workers
are too busy to leave their desks.
Ah,
Are too
are
busy
too
to
busy to
leave
leave
their
their
desks
desks
for
for
lunch.
lunch.
They often
They
just
often
have
just
a
have a
quick sandwich.
quick sandwich.
Yeah. A quick sandwich.
A quick sandwich.
What is? You like more. Yeah, another. What kind of things do we put in sandwiches? What kind of things we put in sandwiches? We put
We
meat,
put meat,
cheese,
cheese,
egg, etc.
eggs,
in
etc. in
sandwiches.
sandwiches.
Yep. Me, what's your biggest fault? What's your biggest fault? My biggest
My
fault
biggest
is
fault is
what?
mm,
I didn't study English earlier.
I
didn't
didn't
study
study English earlier.
earlier. Me too. Oh.
Okay.
Maybe I could have it later. Okay, another. If your computer was faulty, a lot of damage, right? So would you know how to fix the fault? If your computer was faulty, would you know how to fix the fault? Yes, no?
No.
No. If my
If
computer
my
was faulty,
computer was faulty,
I wouldn't know
I
how
wouldn't know
to
how to
fix the
fix
fault.
the fault.
Yep, are your dictations usually faultless? Perfect. Are your dictations usually faultless?
Yay.
Yay. What's next? No, my dictations
My
aren't
dictations aren't
usually
usually
faultless.
faultless.
They usually
They usually
contain
contain
mistakes.
mistakes.
Yeah, but you get it perfectly though. Again, another. If a student makes a mistake in his dictation, is it usually his fault or the teacher's fault? If a student makes a mistake in his dictation, is it usually his fault or the teacher's fault? If a student
If a
makes a
student
mistake
makes a mistake
in his dictation,
in his
his dictation,
dictation,
it's
it's
usually his fault.
usually his fault.
But it could
But
sometimes
it
be
could sometimes be
with the teacher's
the
fault.
teacher's fault.
Yeah, nobody's
So
perfect.
sad.
Why so sad?
Yay, perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, that is. So that's why we have the so-called what can we say instead of okay? What can we say instead of okay? Instead of okay,
Instead of okay,
we can
we
say
can say,
all right.
all right.
Yep. All right. Okay, another. Can we compare Michelangelo with Napoleon? Can we compare Michelangelo with Napoleon? No, we can't
No, we can't
compare
compare
Michelangelo with
Michelangelo with
Napoleon.
Napoleon
Yep. Why not? Why not? Because they were
because they
two
were two
completely different
completely
kinds
different
of
kinds of
people who did
people who
different
did
things
different things
from each other.
from each other.
Yep, so what must two people or things have if we want to make a comparison between them? Again, what must two people or things have if we want to make a comparison between them? If we want
If
to
we
make
want to
a
make a
comparison between two
comparison between
people
two people
or
or
things,
things,
they must have
they must
something
have
in
something in
common.
common.
Yep, what do we use ice for? What do we use ice for? We use
We
ice
use
for
ice for
putting
putting
in drinks to
in
cool
drinks to
them,
cool them,
etc.
etc.
Yep, only an example. I'm gonna be pouring some water onto my cup, right? I don't have a glass here. So what am I doing? What am I doing? You're pouring
You're
some
pouring
water
some water
from a
from a
bottle
bottle
into a
into
cup.
a cup.
Yep. So what
What
kind of
is
bottle?
that?
Alcohol.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the only alcohol that we cannot drink. Okay, another. What about this one? Do you think that all the countries of the world will unite one day? Do you think that all the countries of the world will unite one day? Yes, no?
Mm,
No? No, I don't think
I
that.
don't think that
All the
all the
countries of the
countries
world
of the world
will unite
will
one day.
unite one day.
Yep, another. Give me a sentence with even in it, please. Give me a sentence with even in it. She speaks
She speaks
Russian,
Russian,
German,
German,
French,
French,
and even
and
Chinese.
even Chinese.
He was very impolite.
He was very impolite.
He didn't even
He
say
didn't
hello.
even say hello.
Yep, it's very simple.
It's very simple.
Even a child
Even
could
a child
understand it.
could understand it.
Yes, that's correct. Another, do we generally mix sugar with potatoes? Do we generally mix sugar with potatoes? No, we don't
No, we don't
generally
generally
mix sugar
mi-
with
mix sugar with
potatoes.
potatoes.
Filipinos sometimes do. Nikon is delicious, isn't it? Another, so do you think? Yeah, so sweet. Yeah, sweet potatoes. So sweet. Sweet. So sweet. So, do you think a mixture of tea and coffee would make a pleasant drink? Do you think a mixture of tea and coffee would make a pleasant drink? No, I don't
No, I
think a
don't think
mixture
a
of
mixture of
tea and
tea and
coffee
coffee
would make a
would
pleasant
make a
drink.
pleasant drink.
Drink. Yep. It would make what? It would
It
make
would
an unpleasant drink.
make an unpleasant drink.
Yep. And they're all like, leaves. Like another, if you mix some red and white paint together, what would you get? If you mixed some red and white paint together, what would you get? If I
If I
mixed
mixed
some
some
red and white
red
paint
and white
together,
paint together,
I'd get
I'd get pink
paint.
paint.
Yeah, I'd get black eye from mama. Whitey boy. Okay, hey mom, I miss you then. Okay, another. Who cared for you when you were a child? Oh, nice timing. Who cared for you when you were a child? My mother
My
cared for
mother
me.
cared for me.
Cared for
Cared
me
for me
when I was a
when I
child.
was a child.
I see. I see. Me, me, my dad. Okay, another. Do you think the young should take care of the old? Do you think the young should take care of the old? Yes, I think
Yes,
the
I think
young
the young
should take
should
care
take
of.
care of the old.
Yep. Do you take good care of your health, me? Do you take good care of your health? Yes, I take good
Yes, I
care
take good care
of my health.
of my health.
Of my health. Come on, show them. You really think? Yes, guys, she takes good care of her health. Okay. Do you care what people think or say about you? Do you care what people think or say about you? Yes, no.
Yes.
Yes, I care
I
what
care
people
what
think
people think
or say about me.
or say about me.
Yep. Again, if you're late for a very important appointment, would you take your time? If you were late for a very important appointment, would you take your time? No. If I
No,
were
if I
late
were late
for a very
for a
important
very
appointment,
important appointment,
very important
very
appointment,
important appointment,
appointment, I wouldn't take my time.
I wouldn't
Take my
take
time.
my time.
I'd hurry.
I'd hurry
Yep. Why? Why? Because it's
because
important
it's important
to keep
to keep
appointments
appointments
that we've made.
that we've made.
Yep.
That
We've made.
We've made.
Yes. Why is it sometimes me a bad thing to hurry? Why is it that sometimes a bad thing to hurry? It's sometimes a bad thing.
Eh?
It's
It's
sometimes
sometimes
a bad
a
thing to
bad thing
hurry
to hurry
because we often
because
make
we often make
mistakes
mistakes
when we hurry.
when we hurry.
It's still traveling mistakes
Yeah.
when we hurry. Another. Would you take your time going home if somebody told you, "Oh, Miyu, your house was on fire"? Would you take your time going home if somebody told you your house was on fire? No, I wouldn't
No,
take
I
my
wouldn't take
time
my time
going
going
home
home
if somebody
if
told
somebody
me
told me
my house
my
was
house
on.
was on fire.
I'd hurry.
I'd hurry.
Maybe I'd fly. Like, phew. Okay, another. So, what is the translation of "I am in a hurry" in Japanese? What is the translation of "I am in a hurry" in Japanese? The
The
translation of
translation of
"I am in a
I'm in
hurry"
a hurry
is
is
「
私は
私は
急いで
急い
いま
で」
す。
急いで、
います。急い
急いで、
でいます。
急い
急い
で
でいる
います。
います。
急いでいる。難しいね。I see. Okay, another. Maybe I just say hayaku. Okay, another is what did the words plenty of mean? What did the words plenty of mean? The words
The word
plenty of
plenty
mean
of mean
more than enough. More than enough.
more than enough.
Because you like it. That's why. You could have plenty of mean more than enough, right? Again, another. Do people hurry when they have plenty of time? Do people hurry when they have plenty of time? No, people
No,
don't
people
hurry
don't hurry
when they have
when they
plenty of
have plenty
time.
of time.
They take their
They
time.
take their time.
What is the opposite of plenty of water? What is the opposite of plenty of water? The opposite of
The
plenty of
opposite
water
of plenty of water
is little
is
water
little
or
water
not enough
not
water.
enough water.
Me, what is the difference between for and since? What's the difference between for and since? The
The
difference
difference
between
between
for and
for and
since is
since
that we use the
we
word
use
for,
the word
the word for when we say
when
a
we
period
say
of
a
time,
period of time,
whereas we use the
whereas
word
we use the
since
word since
when we say
when
the
we say
point
the
at
point
which the
at which
period which the period began.
began.
Yep. So I'm trying to offer you. Whoa, 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 yeah. Give me some examples of for. Please give me some example of for, please, for half an hour,
For half
an
an
hour,
hour,
for 2 weeks,
for 2 weeks,
etc.
etc.
When you're trying to beat that noise, woo, yeah. Give me some examples of since, please. Now, give me some examples of since, please. Since 6 o'clock. Since
Since
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock,
Yep. Since last June.
since last June.
Yep. So it's getting lower now. So how long have you been in that room for? And how long have you been in that room for? I've been in
I've
this
been in
room
this room
for about
for about
how long?
5
20 minutes now.
hours.
Oh, 5 hours. Oh my gosh. 5 hours. Okay.
20 minutes.
Since- okay. What can we do? She's there for 5 hours. Okay. So since when have you been in that room? Again, since when have you been in that room? I've been in this
I've
room
been in this room
since 5 hours ago.
5 hours ago.
That's the easiest way. Another. How long have you lived in that town for? How long have you lived in that town for? I've lived in
I've
this
lived in
town.
this town.
I've lived
I've
in
lived in
this
this
town for
town
about
for about 80
how long?
years.
80 years. Hold your eight.
8
years.
years.
Yeah, but 80 years. Hello. Like another. Since when have you lived in that town? Since when have you lived in that town? I've lived
I've
in this
lived in
town
this town
since 8 years ago.
since 8 years ago.
Yep, maybe. Okay, about how long have you known me for? About how long have you known me for? I've known you
I've known you
for about
for about
how
2
long?
years.
2 years, almost, right?
Almost.
Cool. So since when have you known me? Since when have you known me? I've known you
I've known
since
you since
2019.
2019.
Yes, 2019. Oh, you guys, just don't count. It will become less 2 years. Okay, anyway, so have you been able to speak English for more than 10 years? Have you been able to speak English for more than 10 years? Yes, I've been able
Yes, I've
to.
been able to.
I've been
I've
able
been
to
able to
speak
speak
English for more
English
than
for more than
10
10
years.
years.
Yep, so have you been able to speak English since you were a young child? Again, have you been able to speak English since you were a young child? Yes, no?
Maybe.
Yes, yes, right. Yes, I've been
Yes,
able
I've been
to
able to
speak
speak
English
English
since I was a
since I
young
was
child.
a young child.
Okay, let's move down here. So, what kind of things does a kitchen usually contain? What kind of things does a kitchen usually contain? A kitchen
A
usually
kitchen usually
contains
contains
a
a
fridge, a
fridge,
freezer,
a freezer,
a cooker, a
a
sink,
cooker, a
etc.
sink, etc.
So I have no kitchen. So sad. Again, another. So does meat last longer in a fridge or a freezer? Again, does meat last longer in a fridge or a freezer? Meat lasts
Meat lasts
longer,
longer
you know?
in a freezer.
Yep. So you can put lasts. Can you say it again? Meat
Meat
lasts longer
lasts longer
in a freezer.
in a freezer.
Yep. So what is the people like using microwaves? Me, I don't use. So what about you? What is the people like using microwaves? Some people like
Some people
using
like using
microwaves
microwaves
because
because
they cook
they
food
cook food
very
very
quickly.
quickly.
I thought you said because people are lazy. Oh.
Yes,
Yeah, hey guys. I love you. Canada, did you find English pronunciation a little difficult at the beginning of your studies? Did you find English pronunciation a little difficult at the beginning of your studies? Yes, no. Yes, I found
I
English
found English
pronunciation. Yes.
pronunciation.
I rewind. Yes, I found
Yes, I
English
found English
pronunciation a
pronunciation
little difficult at
a
the beginning
little
of a little
difficult,
difficult
a
at the
little
beginning
difficult at the beginning
of
of
my
my
studies.
studies.
Yep, it's okay. That's what we call practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
Again, Italy. So, do you hope your English studies will help your future career? Do you hope your English studies will help your future career? Yes, I hope my
Yes, I have my English.
English what? English
English
studies,
studies.
English
English
studies
studies
will help my
will help
future
my future
career.
career.
Yep. So, would you lend her some money if she asks you? Would you lend her some money if she asks you? No, I wouldn't
I
lend
wouldn't
her
lend her
any
any
money
money
if she
if she
asked me.
asked me.
Yep. If you lent something to somebody and they didn't return it, what did you do? If you lent something to somebody and they didn't return it, what did you do? If I lent
If I
something to
lend
somebody,
somebody to if
if I
I
lent
lend
something
something to
to somebody
somebody
and they
and they didn't
somebody somebody
somebody
somebody and they didn't
and
return it,
didn't return it,
I'd ask
I'd
them to
ask them to
return it.
return it and
Okay.
roar.
Okay. I'll give back your powder.
Uh,
Sorry. Alright. Hey, what about this one? What's your first name? What's your first name? My first
my
name's
first name's
me.
Miyu.
Would you like to be famous? Would you like to be famous? Yes, no?
No,
No, I wouldn't like to
I
be
wouldn't like to
famous.
be famous.
Yep, so that'll gonna be your how to say this one last full stage revision word today, right? So question. Thank you so much, Mia, and have a good day.
Bye bye.
Bye.